We all know what my 600lb life looks like today. We know the viral clips, the shocking weigh-ins, and the dramatic confrontations. But before the internet turned extreme weight loss into bite-sized entertainment, there was a beginning. A pilot episode that didn't just document a diet, but captured a 7-year psychological war. This is the story of Melissa Morris. At 653 pounds, she wasn't just carrying the weight of her body, she was carrying the weight of a deferred dream, the dream of becoming a mother. But as we open this file today, we aren't just looking at how a woman lost 500 pounds. We are asking a much darker question. What happens when the person you love only knows how to love you, when you are helpless? Today, we take a deep dive into the very first patient of Dr. Nowzaradan and explore the hidden, often tragic costs of transformation. For someone weighing over 650 pounds, a surgical operating table is a place of extreme paradox. It is the only gateway to a future, but it is also a highly dangerous gamble with death. Entering her first surgery, Melissa wasn't just facing a medical procedure, she was walking into the absolute unknown. Enter Dr. Nowzaradan. Long before he became a pop culture icon known for his strict rules and savage quotes, he was the last hope for people the medical system had given up on. He knew that performing gastric bypass on a body of this size was perilous. The anesthesia alone is a massive risk, but doing nothing was a guaranteed death sentence. She survived the operating room, but the physical trauma of the surgery is only the beginning. When Melissa underwent gastric bypass surgery, she didn't just lose the physical capacity to eat large amounts of food, she lost her primary coping mechanism. The surgery forces a brutal psychological confrontation. The procedure itself was a medical success. The gastric bypass drastically reduced the size of her stomach, physically restricting the massive amounts of calories her body was used to. And soon, the initial results arrived. In the direct aftermath of her first surgery, Melissa managed to drop 20 pounds. Imagine waking up from anesthesia. Your stomach is now a fraction of its original size, but your brain, the neural pathways carved over decades of emotional eating, remains exactly the same. You are suddenly trapped in a body that is healing, with a mind that is screaming for its usual chemical reward. It is a withdrawal as severe as any drug addiction. Melissa's body was successfully altered, but the surgeon's scalpel couldn't reach her mind. The real battle had just begun. Her recovery at home was grueling. Every single day was a brutal physical fight against pain, fatigue, and the haunting phantom cravings of a mind screaming for its usual chemical reward. Yet, despite the agony, she was healing. She followed the strict, unforgiving diet. The numbers on the scale were finally moving in the right direction. For the first time in years, Melissa was winning the biological war. 6 months post-surgery, the intense physical restrictions were finally paying off. Melissa had lost enough weight to regain something she hadn't experienced in years: mobility. And with that newfound mobility came a monumental decision. She was going back to her hometown to visit her family. At the airport, she tried to stay calm, but the moment she walked into the waiting area, she could feel people looking at her. Some stared for too long, some whispered, and even when no one said anything directly, she knew exactly what they were thinking. She kept her head down and tried to act normal. But inside, she was embarrassed and exhausted. The hardest part came when she realized one seat would not be enough for her on the plane. She had to buy 2 seats just to be able to sit down. For most people, boarding a flight is simple, but for her, it became a painful reminder of how much her weight had changed her life. When she finally sat in her seat, she could not hold it in anymore. She started crying, not because people were watching, but because in that moment, she understood that her weight was no longer just a problem with her body.
So coming out is hard.
After a long time away, she finally got the chance to see her family again. The moment she walked in, the children ran toward her, and for a while, everything felt normal. She sat with them, laughed with them, and tried to enjoy the simple feeling of being present with the people she loved. But behind that reunion, there was still a serious reality waiting for her. Her surgery had changed her life, But it had not solved everything. She talked openly with her family about what came next, about the recovery, the responsibility, and the fear of going back to old habits. This was not just about losing weight anymore. It was about proving that the surgery was only the beginning, and that from this point forward, every choice she made would decide whether she could truly build a different life.
Alyssa, are you skinny yet? He thinks that the surgery just made me skinny instantly.
She returned home knowing that the next stage of her journey would not be easy. This time, she understood more clearly what was at stake. The surgery was not just another medical step. It was part of a long process that required discipline, patience, and the willingness to keep going even when recovery became painful or frustrating. During the surgery, everything became serious. The doctors prepared her carefully, because with her condition, even a planned operation still carried risks. She was taken into the operating room, placed under anesthesia, and from that moment, the medical team had to take control of every step. This was not a quick or simple procedure. Her body had already been through a major transformation, but the second surgery was still a difficult part of the process. The doctors worked to remove the excess skin and repair the areas that had been affected after her weight loss, while also watching her breathing, blood pressure. The surgery was a sign of progress, but it was also a reminder that changing her life came with pain, fear, and real medical consequences. When it was finally over, the most important question was not just whether the operation had succeeded, but whether she would have the strength to recover and keep moving forward. The surgery was successful, and for the first time in a long while, there was a real sense of relief around her. The doctors had managed to complete the procedure safely, removing the excess skin that had been left behind after her weight loss. But what made this moment even more meaningful was what happened afterward. Instead of simply being discarded, part of her removed skin was prepared for medical use and given to patients who had suffered severe burns.
Very, very, very happy. Is that all? That's it? You all done?
For those patients, damaged skin can become one of the biggest dangers to survival. In that way, her surgery became more than just another step in her own transformation. The skin that once represented years of struggle was now being used to help protect and heal other people. It was a quiet but powerful turn in her story, showing that something painful from her past could still become part of someone else's chance to recover.
I love life. I really feel it is a shame that I have to sleep because I felt like I wasted so much of my life.